And in the end, we will unveil the painting as a finished work. In the meantime, as we stay looking over my shoulder as I'm busy at work, we can take a look around at my work table. On the right and top, we find jars of pre-mixed paints. The jar in the top middle that says Golden Paints is Nickel Azo Yellow, and that one is the only exception because it is not pre-mixed. The others I mixed from 2 or 3 colors. I like to have them handy to give my work some color consistency, to give the areas harmony. What do I mean by that? Well, if a color is included in various parts of the painting, it'll have a better chance of unifying the whole painting, the color harmonies of the painting.
Can we do it again?
The image in the top left corner is on a cutting board. I picked up a bunch of these kitchen cutting boards from IKEA one day, and now I paint on them. When I'm done and the painting is completely dry, I peel it off the cutting board to stick onto plexiglass paintings like the one I'm working on now. That one I'm talking about is actually the 3 panels on the top right of this painting. I'll be adhering those to the painting once I'm done with the reverse painting. We're able to see those 3 paintings on the front side, and yes, they look sort of abstract. It has been my intention in the reverse painting to clarify some of the nebulous parts you see there. Some of the parts that don't look right, some of the parts that don't make sense. The panels directly below it are the start of another reverse painting. And in this one, notice that the blue film on this particular piece of plexiglass is lighter, and so it's going to be easier to see what is happening on the back side. Below that is the front side of a finished painting. More colors are joining the work. When I add this many colors to a reverse painting that I am making without the luxury of looking behind the blue film, I wonder how it will come out in the end. The more colors you use in any painting, the more you're adding to the soup, and the more dangerous the color combinations become. That is why many painters only choose about a dozen colors on any one particular painting. I try to follow this practice, although it doesn't always happen this way. Here I'm pausing to think about my next step. When making reverse paintings, you have to think backwards all the time, and so I do pause a lot. I'm used to it now, but I can still remember all the big mistakes I made when I first started making these types of paintings. I need to pause some more. This one has a lot of elements, and I'm putting on minute placements of different colors all around. Notice the paint skin on the lower left corner of this video. That paint skin is the large panel on this painting. I'll be adhering it later over the lower part of the plexiglass.
See? Okay, I'm ready. Go.
Paint on them. Cutting board to stick onto plexiglass paintings like the one I'm working on now. There were a lot of details, and usually when I have to use that many details, it takes a lot more time. There's a lot more planning involved. And I also have to think about how I'm going to apply the color. Am I going to just put, am I just going to cover it with color, or am I going to use little dots, dashes, things like that. Sometimes there's so much thinking involved, I just sit there and just look at it and look at it, bring the brush over it and over it without touching it. Just thinking and thinking. Like I said, the idea is clarity. I'm trying to clarify some things that I felt are not so clear in the front. And so I'm carefully piecing this together, putting it back together actually, so that I can get a second version, a different version of what's happening in the front side. A good deal of this one was just coloring. So I'm using paint to almost color things like in a coloring book, except in some moments I didn't use any black line to delineate forms. There's a part here where there's a tiny piece where there's a landscape with buildings and they're not drawn in. So I'm just using, I'm working off of the paint skin, the original paint skin, to see what they kind of look like and then putting that new version in there. Now I'm covering that light area with some medium gray. Very little of that gray is going to show through, but some of it will seep through the cracks.
I messed up the pizza.
Even with all the colors I'm using in bits and pieces, I'm using a good deal of gray. Gray is my best friend. It is the most neutral color. I use gray when I want to keep things balanced, or when I want to take the safe route with color. Gray goes with anything, and it could be made to look like other things. For example, if you use a neutral gray in a painting that is mostly warm, that gray is going to look cold by comparison. Some viewers might swear you actually mix blue into the gray. And the same goes the other way around. The gray could look warm in an area of blue.
That's a nice one. Just get this.
Now for the unveiling. Here is the front side, and here is the back side. Did I clarify the Zap-stract kinetics that was happening in the front? You be the judge of that. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so that you can be notified when a new video is released. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.